The question of why I was doing things that I don't remember doing just after the murder could be explained very easily, but nobody will listen. It was even explained to the court, but it was then retracted and taken out because they decided not to try that case. I have blackouts. When I'm at my most mentally stressed, I have blackouts. I just go away and I continue living, but I don't have any memory of that existence because I'm in a blackout. I had them when I was in high school. I had them when I was married. I probably still have them now. I would not know if I was having a blackout because I have no memory during a blackout. I'm just, I'm people say I act different, but not different enough that they can tell that I'm not me. Probably because I'm the most boring human being in history. It'd be very easy for a robot to pretend to be me. The trial was broken up into two parts. They tried him for what he did to her, and then they had a completely separate file for what he did to me that they didn't try. The reason they separated the cases, people are getting mad that I said they only tried half the case. They tried half the case because it would have been easier on him, I think. But about a month before the trial, my therapist told me that the police had come with a warrant for my psych records. And around that time, the police told me that they were separating the cases, and there were things that I was not allowed to say at trial because it was a separate case. And so it limited the testimony of what I was allowed to tell them. They said I couldn't tell the jury at trial. I couldn't tell them that I was afraid, or that he had threatened me, or that he had beaten me, or that I had mental health conditions, because that was all a part of a separate trial against him for what he had done to me. And so I couldn't say I stayed because I was afraid, because that would have been a trial for what he did to me by making me afraid. And they weren't going to try that. So I wasn't allowed to say that. There were a lot of things that changed after they got my psych records. And the things that were in the psych records were never revealed to the jury, to the trial, because they didn't go that route. But the psych records talked about my blackouts. And they even had from mental hospitals where I was in and out in a revolving door, they got those records as well. So once this really opens up to the second case that they're trying, because the group wants it reopened to where I'm put in prison. But if the case is reopened, it will be reopened against him in my honor, for me. It will be for what he did to me. Because there was a lot of things that he did to me that would have been a case if they had not separated the cases. It would be more clear that he pulled a knife on me and threatened my grandmother before I even got in the vehicle to go back to his house, if that was not a separate case that I was not allowed to talk about. It would be more clear why I didn't leave, because he was threatening to kill me, and because he strangled me half to death once and told me he was going to kill me. That would be more clear and understandable if it was part of the original case. But because they separated the cases, it's very confusing to the people who only have the first half of the case, the half that went to trial. It's not as confusing to me because I lived it, and I know what the truth is, and I know that I didn't kill anybody. What is happening to me is not happening because I murdered somebody and got away with it. It's happening because I have an abusive family. And I wrote a book in 2019 that my family didn't like. And they're now having this community, this cyberbullying cult slander, defame, harass, and terrorize me to silence me because they're angry about what I put in an anonymous book. It's got nothing to do with murder. Nobody actually thinks I murdered somebody, but they're going to keep saying that to make you think that because they're mad at me for speaking out about people that have hurt me. The people that hurt me are still hurting me. My Aunt Kathy is a member of the cult. She is a faction leader of her own. She created her own channel specifically to emotionally abuse me. My problem is not that I've murdered somebody and I'm trying to run away from it. My problem is that I have an abusive family. And you can't run from an abusive family because they will always find me and they will always have a need to keep me silent. I'm 40. The aunt abusing me is near 80, and it doesn't deter her at all. She will say and do anything to, if she can't silence me, make sure nobody listens. I didn't kill anybody. If I did, I would be a hell of a lot more scared for people to be looking into the case. And I'm not. I would be perfectly happy going through another trial at this point just to clear my name. I want people to report it. I want it reopened. I wouldn't be doing that if I was guilty of the crime. But I know what the truth is. I know what's in those documents that y'all can't access. And unfortunately, I also know that it doesn't matter. Even if they hold another trial and everything comes out and they prove that I'm innocent, nobody in this group would believe a jury verdict of innocence for me. They're going to say, well, she got away with it again. She must have fucked somebody. She must have found some money somehow. She must have done something. Because once you've convinced some people of something, you can't unconvince them. You simply can't take the lie back if the lie is big enough. Because people don't want to be fooled. People don't want to believe that they can be deceived on such high levels. They don't want to believe that they can be lied about and believe it about a murder. They don't want to believe that their minds are capable of being fooled and tricked that easily. So they say that, well, no, I'm right. The jury was wrong. The judge was wrong. We've known for decades, but the courts are wrong. Even though the courts have the evidence and actually do the investigation and actually understand the law. But some cyberbully online told you that I got away with murder, so you better get out your fucking pitchforks and start stabbing at me for the rest of my life because I clearly got away with murder. Just because somebody said so, somebody not legal, somebody who only goes over murder investigations when they're trying to hurt somebody else. They don't go over true crime content on their channel unless they know somebody that is involved in the crime and they're trying to humiliate and embarrass them. It's fucked up.